Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Holy breath and holy name. Will you ease this pain? Holy breath and holy name. Will you ease this pain? Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. Holy breath in holy name. Will you ease this pain? Oh, holy breath, will you ease this pain? Will you ease this pain? Will you ease this pain? Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go, let go. You don't have to carry the weight of the world. Let go, let go, let go. Holy breath in holy name. Will you ease this pain? Oh, holy breath, will you ease this pain? Oh, you don't have to carry. Will you ease this Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Josh Fagelson. I'm the president and CEO here at IJS. And what a delight. This is so great. Mark, so many people love you. Thank you. This is so great. Okay. I'm going to say a few words to get us started. My first day at work here at IJS was on February 3rd, 2020. Note that date, February 3rd, 2020. It was an exciting time for all of us. I had just experienced my first retreat in IJS's clergy leadership program, and I was looking forward to more retreats in the months to come. And in order to get to know our alumni, Marc Margolius and I started planning a spring road trip to different communities. You remember this, Mark, I imagine, which would allow us to not only meet IJS people all over the country, but also to take in some baseball games together. Mark and I are looking forward to October when we hope my Detroit Tigers and his Philadelphia Phillies are meeting in the World Series, but we won't get ahead of ourselves. In any case, the world had different plans, of course. By early March, it was clear that those retreats wouldn't be happening, and neither would the road trip. As we all went into lockdown, and as so much fear and uncertainty gripped all of us, we realized that IJS was called on to serve. In the business speak of the time, we pivoted, and it was one heck of a pivot. In early 2020, IJS had a handful of online courses, and we held a weekly Zoom sit for people who wanted to come. If 30 people showed up, we thought that was amazing. With COVID, we decided we would start doing a daily sit, and we held the first one on March 12th, 2020. 41 people came, which we thought was incredible. But day after day, the numbers kept growing, and by a week later, we were at 350 people. Our high water mark came in August of 2020 when Rabbi Angela Buckdahl led a sit attended by 758 participants, if memory serves. Today, the Daily Sit, along with our weekly online Jewish yoga studio led by Cantor Lizzie Shamash and our multiple podcasts, have been accessed over 500,000 times. 500,000. That is an astonishing number. And every day, hundreds of people from all over the world log on at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time to turn on their Zoom cameras and close their eyes together. What an incredible thing. While the pandemic has thankfully subsided, the world, for all of us and for the Jewish community in our own way, is still a stormy place. For so many people, the IJS Daily Sit has become an anchor in that churning sea. And the captain who has kept us steady in the storm is Rabbi Marc Margolius, the host of the Daily Sit, and I'm honored to say my dear friend and colleague. For 5 years, Mark has assembled an incredible lineup of guest teachers to lead this sacred community. As the testimonials we read on our screen just a few moments ago reflect, Mark has been a face, voice, and presence of calm, care, and wisdom. He has guided us in being kind to ourselves and channeling chesed and blessings to others. He has helped us to laugh, to cry, and to steer through the winds and the waves a little more skillfully. And I also want to say we received many more testimonials than these. We showed only what we could in the brief time allowed. But rest assured that if you sent something, Mark will see it. So tonight we're here to say thank you to Mark and to say thank you to you and the thousands of others who have gathered and supported one another in this amazing community day after day for the last 5 years. We are all on this journey through the storm together, and knowing that we are there for each other, with Captain Mark at the helm, gives all of us more strength and courage. So thank you. I'm also delighted to share that going into tonight, we have raised over $60,000 from 689 donors. That is an incredible number. And we would love for that number to go even higher. Maybe we can even make good on the blessing we give ourselves to double it and get to $120,000. If you are moved by the program tonight, please consider making an additional gift in honor of Mark and to help us bring the Daily Sit and all our amazing free resources to you and even more people. There's a link in the chat where you can make a donation. Thank you for what you have already given, and thank you in advance for your gifts in the future. Now, to say a few more words about Mark and to present him with a special gift, it's my pleasure to welcome my friend and IJS board member, Rabbi Shuli Passow.
Good evening, everyone. It's a real honor to be here and to be offering some words of appreciation and gratitude to you, Mark, for all that you have done, not just over the past 5 years with the Daily Sit, but particularly with the Daily Sit. And I want to do that through the lens of Pirkei Avot. And during this period of the Omer, it is traditional to study Pirkei Avot, and so we are this week coming to the end of the 5th chapter, which two of the final Mishnayot in this chapter are fairly well known to people. One of them is a very clear, linear progression of how the world should work. At 5 years of age, you start studying the Torah. At 10, you study the Mishnah. At 13, you study the mitzvot. At 15, the Talmud. Then you get married. Then you have a job. Da, 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 da. It's very, very precise. And I want to offer a teaching about this Mishnah as it relates to the next Mishnah. Ben Bagbag said, Hafoch ba vehafoch ba dechola ba. Turn it over and over again. Torah, because everything is contained in it, which doesn't seem to be connected to the Mishnah that comes right before it. But I want to offer this teaching from Rabbi Yitzchak Gettinger, is a local rabbi here in New York, who says, actually, we need to read these two Mishnayot together, because the first one would have us believe that life is linear, that we just follow these steps, and there we go. And we make it to wisdom, and we make it to old age, and the path is laid out before us. But then Ben Bagbag comes along and says, actually, the world's really messy. It's always flipping upside down. It's always changing in ways that we don't anticipate. And our relationship to Torah cannot only be linear. It has to allow for this messiness, and Torah will speak to this messiness. And as Josh, you said, the world got really messy in 2020. Any structures that we thought we had in place were completely overturned. And so the idea of placing these two Mishnayot together is that we need to have a balance between creating structures for ourselves that can contain us and being open and accepting and wise about the messiness of the world when things flip upside down, and how we have to seek our support and our wisdom and our Torah from the sources that we seek them from during those moments. So life is not linear, and it's not all messy. There's a bit of both. And Mark, what you created and have sustained over the past 5 years, I think is a perfect example of this balance. You have created a structure. It's every day at the same time, there's a sit. The format is more or less the same. But within that container, within that structure for Torah, that people know what to expect, you have allowed for such deep turning and turning and turning to help people in those early days and early months of COVID through the tumult of that time. And while COVID has subsided, the tumult is different, but still persists. And so you have created that space for flipping around and also having a structure. And that should not surprise anyone, that you have created something that has touched so many people's lives and provided so much support and guidance over these past 5 years, because you are all about balance. I think it is rare that I have heard you teach without mentioning the work of balancing chesed and gevura, or netzach and hod. This idea of finding the middle ground, of bringing together both sides, is just core to who you are and to the Torah that you bring to IJS and to the world. And that should not surprise us, because you are also a lawyer who is someone who wants to bring the scales of justice and balance the scales of justice. And so we want to present to you this little token of our appreciation, a set of scales. You can actually keep this on your desk now and pull out the little weights, and you can balance how much does Gevura weigh and how much do we have to put on the other side to get it balanced with chesed. Oh, we need a little more chesed there. Okay, so when the time is right, I will be delighted to deliver this to you in person. And until that moment, just know that we are all incredibly grateful for the balance that you've created and that you bring and that you enable for each of us. Thank you, Mark.
Wow, I am really touched by that, and that present. No offense to anyone here, but that present now is tied for first place, I think, for greatest presents I've ever received, alongside my Marc Margolius Phillies bobblehead doll, and I will put them side by side on my case here. Thanks, Josh, and Shirley. I'm really, pretty verklempt after that and seeing what people have been writing. So, and I've been joking now for since we announced this program about the irony of being honored. We're essentially sitting around for 5+ years. But I really do appreciate this kavod, this honor. And I want to actually say a few words about that Hebrew word kavod, which has a Hebrew root, kaf, vet, dalet, which has this connotation of weightiness, of heft, of value. And in the Bible, in the Tanakh, kavod Hashem, kavod Adonai, connotes this sense, a palpable sense of divine presence, which is really apropos for this week of the Omer, as we're coming to the close of the Omer this week, the week of Malchut, of presence, divine presence, Shekhinah. And that presence, that divine presence, appears at certain key moments, including when the Mishkan, the tabernacle, has been assembled and put together, and Kavod Adonai appears to the people. So I appreciate this Kavod. And on the daily sit over the last month or so, I've been referencing another teaching from Pirkei Avot, which I was a little afraid you were going to use, Shirley, but grateful you didn't, from the sage, the rabbinic sage Ben Zoma, who taught Ezehu Mechubad, who is one who is honored, Amechabed et Habriot, who is honored, one who honors all creatures, all created beings. So in all sincerity, I accept that kavod, which, as my friend and teacher, Rabbi Pam Wax, has taught, involves treating oneself and treating others in a way that reflects the core reality that every human being is made in the divine image, that each of us has innate, infinite worth. So I appreciate the recognition of my own kavod, and I reflect it back to everyone here. I want to remind each person here of your own kavod, and extend kavod to everyone who has helped over these 5+ years to help create this incredible container that has really sustained me, as well as all of you, over these 5.5 years. I want to first and foremost thank my family, which has been so supportive, and who, in the course of the pandemic, really learned how to keep it down and stay away from Abba at daily sit time, and who always keep me humble, keep me in my place, and support me in every way. I love my family. I appreciate them, grateful, and I want to give them kavod. And I want to give kavod as well to the amazing teachers who day after day have shown up and who have led the sit every day. Specifically, I want to give a shout out to my friend and colleague, Rabbi Jordan Ben Nadapel, who's here, who, because this daily sit really builds on a precedent that Jordan created in the years just before the pandemic, of a weekly sit, which we expanded to a daily sit, and to Josh, who, after all, has hosted at least 20% of the sits, and is an invaluable bullpen asset for us who's always ready to step in as well. So grateful to you. But to these teachers, many of whom are here live and some of whom I imagine will watch the recording, I want to say thank you. I want to extend kavod to you. From you, I have learned what makes for a good Jewish mindfulness meditation teacher, the essential ingredients. Number one is loving presence. Number two is authenticity, actually sharing in the practice, being real. Third is humility, getting the self and ego out of the way. And the fourth is a healthy dose of rachamim, of compassion for self and for others, and creating a container in which that compassion and love can be felt and extended towards each other. So can't thank these teachers enough. Kavod also to the astoundingly talented and utterly dependable folks who hold our tech Mishkan each day, and the operations folks at IJS as well, who are super competent and even more so incredibly lovely human beings who handle all the large and small details that make it possible. And finally, and not least of all, I want to extend kavod right now, just refract this kavod right out to the hundreds and if not thousands of participants in the daily sit who have really amazed me day by day by showing up. Just take time in your day to pause, to breathe, to take care of yourself, to anchor yourself, to remember to connect to something deeper or beyond ourselves, and who have really organically fostered an amazing and truly loving Jewish spiritual community, really modeled the creation of a virtual, loving Jewish spiritual community, which has supported its members through health and other crises, through losses, not to mention the myriad collective challenges that we have faced and continue to face today, and no doubt will continue to face in the future. And also have shared smachot, have shared their personal joys with each other, asked incredibly probing questions day after day, contributed, again, day after day, amazing rich resources with each other and with me, a community which, despite the physical distance, has created a real sense of being present for yourselves and for each other. So I want to say, kol hakavod lachem. I want to share this kavod with all of you. The theme is steady in the storm tonight. And so we're going to move into a little bit of a short practice, and grateful for that. And for that practice, I'd like to suggest the metaphor of a yated, Hebrew word which means a tent peg. A tent peg like those that were used in the construction of the Mishkan, of the tabernacle that accompanied the Israelites in their wanderings through the wilderness, through the Midbar, which is really the paradigm for moving through life and its challenges and feeling a sense of divine presence as we do so. It seems like a small, insignificant thing, the yated, the tent peg. It's nothing like the precious materials and resources that were contributed by people to create that tabernacle according to the Torah. But without the tent pegs, there would be no shelter, there'd be no tent, there'd be no sacred space. Each tent peg is essential, something I learned years ago from Rabbi Larry Kushner. So our mental image for this short sit is to consider each of ourselves as a yated ne'eman, as a reliable, dependable tent peg held firmly in the ground. That's our image. The classic biblical commentator Rashi's grandson, Rashbam, who himself is a renowned Torah commentator, says this about the meaning of the word ne'eman, which is often translated as faithful, but which also has this connotation of steadiness, of dependability. And he says what ne'eman means is kavua, fixed. It's the same word that used for affixing a mezuzah on the doorpost. And miyusad, anchored, foundational, anchored in the bedrock, each moment of the day. That's what ne'eman means, to be anchored in each moment of the day. And he cites a verse in Isaiah which says, I will affix him as a peg in a secure place, as a yated b'makom ne'eman. It's not the yated, not the tent peg that's ne'eman and dependable. It is the makom that is dependable. The peg, he says, that's affixed in steadfast ground will not easily fall. These are times that are certainly trying our souls. We've been through other times throughout history that have tried our souls. This is one of those again. But we learn from our tradition that we each have the capacity to access that inner tent peg that will keep us steady through whatever life throws at us. And I want to invite us to see if we can access that Yated Ne'eman internally now for a few minutes. We each are going to contribute that Yated, that tent peg, to hold shelter from the storm and sit and breathe together for a few minutes. And let's see with this, if with this tent peg, we can hold this mishkan, we can hold this shelter for each other just for 5 minutes or so. So if it's helpful for you to close your eyes, if you're comfortable doing that, you can do that. You don't have to do that. You can let yourself go to a soft focus with your eyes if you like, or more importantly, if neither of those are accessible, you can just bring your awareness inward. I'll join those who are closing their eyes. And if you're able to settle the soles of your feet on the floor. And as we do so, we can really be aware of the other 368 humans who are doing so right now and see if we can stay aware of our own bodies and our own beings as that peg that is fixed in the ground. See if you can notice yourself being held firmly enough so that you don't slip, so that you don't sway too much, that you don't tip over. We are that Yated b'makom ne'eman. We are pegs that are held by a makom, by a divine source that is always available, that is ne'eman, that keeps us steady in the storm. So let's just sit and breathe as we use our imagination to access that image for ourselves, imagine our bodies in that way. I want to really invite you to try to be aware of all the others right now at this very moment who are doing the same. And imagine that we collectively are holding up this mishkan, this shelter that can protect ourselves and that reveals a presence that goes beyond any of our individual selves right now and supports us as we do so. So let's just sit in silence for 3 or so minutes and I'll bring us back with the sound of my voice. If the mind wanders away and find yourself struggling to stay present, just bring yourself back to the sensation of your feet on the floor or the next inhalation that arises. Let yourself receive that breath and notice the belly expanding and contracting. Notice your hands resting in your lap or on top of your thighs. Notice the temperature of the air in your space against your skin. You can imagine the storm swirling around you, but experience yourself as that peg that's anchored, that is kavua, fixed, that is miusad, that is steady, and feel the energy of everyone else here whose steadiness is holding the shelter, holding the mishkan. And for the last few minutes of this short sit, and all it takes is just one moment of being connected to the present, of one moment of taking a breath with intention, one moment of noticing sensation. And Dayenu, that's enough. Not to expect perfection, but to practice compassion for any unsteadiness. And for the last minute of this short practice, let's bring that awareness to the makom, to the place that is holding us steady. Just as a gentle reminder for us that there is something deeper than ourselves, something beyond ourselves, that we can access, that we can call upon, that we yearn for, that sustains us and holds us even through all the challenges, and that shares in the joys too. I want to give a little bow of gratitude and awareness of that kavod, that palpable presence that evoked prostration for our ancestors, sense of awe, and also a sense of awe in how we support each other when one of us is afraid of toppling, how we can catch each other, how we can hold each other up by being that reliable, steadfast tent peg. Your eyes have been closed. I invite you to allow them just to open them slowly. Take your time. Give yourself some gratitude. I want to put a hand over your heart space, physical way of representing that. And gratitude to everybody here for collectively creating this Mishkan tonight. Thank you so much.
Mark, thank you. Wow, what a gift. I'm tempted to say we're now going to say Mourner's Kaddish and then stick around for for some conversation, but we're not going to do that. If you want that, you can come to the daily sit. But thank you for reminding all of us just about tapping into the gratitude we feel for you and for everyone in this community. Thank you. We have a few more words of gratitude from some of our teachers on the daily sit and some of our participants. And so I'm gonna introduce them and let's roll the tape.
We read in Leviticus 6:6, Eish tamid tukat al hamizbeach lo tichbe. A perpetual fire shall be kept burning on the altar, it shall not be extinguished. So many of us in the IJS community are endeavoring to keep the spiritual fire burning on the altar of our hearts. We know we need community to do that, and we also know that we need leaders and teachers like Mark, who generously offer up their own efforts to tend the fire and their own light to keep it burning brightly. Day after day, Mark shows up to encourage our practice, to deepen it, and keep the fire going. His trust that together we can bring each other healing, warmth, and connection to a fragmented world with so much anguish and despair and disconnection. That in and of itself is a beautiful offering of the highest order. So Mark, you're a blessing to us all. Chazak v'amatz. We wish you strength and courage just as you build that strength and courage in all of us.
I would say what I really want to pay tribute to, primarily in Rabbi Marc, is his phenomenal, warm generosity of spirit. That when I started doing the sits with IJS, I had not met him before, and yet he welcomed me so fully and so completely to be my whole self. He really invited me to show up very comfortably as my whole self and to bring my full self into the teaching and the sit, into the whole encounter, that I immediately felt I could really teach in the way I wanted to and just be giving the gift that I want to give when I'm teaching, because he really created that space. And I think, he does that for me as a teacher, but I think he does it in general for our community. And the community in general, people are there because they feel so safe and welcomed and honored. And it's a very beautiful quality that comes really from his heart and soul, that he can do that for all of us. So thank you, Rabbi Marc. Ad Me'avis Rim until 120.
One of the things I most appreciate about Rabbi Marc's leadership of the Daily Sit is his constant search for understanding of self and others. He is clearly on a learning journey, and he invites each of us to join him by being on our own journey. This is evident in the daily conversation after each sit. He identifies something in the sit's teaching that he wants to explore. He picks a simple idea, a practice puzzle, and explores it with the day's teacher leader. He does this from a beginner's mind, which makes the conversation accessible to me and others with whom I've been in communication. The discussion that follows Marc's beginner's mind questions is often rich, not just between Rabbi Marc and the day sit leader, but in the chat as well, where people comment or ask questions to explore connections to their own spiritual journeys. My experience of this has been to open my mind and heart wider. It has also led me to form relationships with others on the sits as we continue conversations started in the chat. For me, Rabbi Marc's discussion with the day's sit leader has created and supported a vibrant learning and practice community, through which my own sense of spirituality has deepened, and for which I am deeply grateful.
I just want to acknowledge what an amazing job Marc has done in creating and holding sacred space on our daily sit each day at IJS. He does such a lovely job of welcoming newcomers and models setting an intention for our time together. He also has recruited and welcomes a range of teachers. And I feel that there's two superpowers that Marc manifests during the question and answer period at the end of the sit. One is the way he is able to, on the spot, restate the teaching of the teacher and give the teacher space to highlight, amplify, or correct anything, if there is ever anything that Marc doesn't get right. In addition, he does a lovely job of pulling questions out of the chat, as well as adding to the chat if there are references that have been made or translation of Hebrew terms. So for all of this, I express my extreme gratitude to Marc.
I've never met Rabbi Marc in person. I know what he looks like, but only from his shoulders up. His voice is very soothing, so soothing, but we've never had a one-on-one conversation. I know few details about his life. He's off and off on Tuesdays, and yet he has been like a North Star for me for the last 5 years. During the pandemic, we all flocked to virtual learning. I was only 1 month into my very well-planned retirement at the beginning of the pandemic. And like everyone else, whatever plans I had were turned upside down. And then there was Rabbi Marc, epitomizing the role of rabbi and teacher and spiritual guide every day at the IJS. His wit and patience helped me appreciate the line from Fiddler on the Roof. If I were a rich man, I'd discuss the holy books with the learned men several hours every day. And that would be the sweetest thing of all. His love of Torah and Jewish spiritual awareness enriched all those days. Now, all these days, the IJS sit is a key part of my Jewishness and my love of Rumi's guest house. Toda Rabba, Rabbi Marc.
The folk singer Dar Williams has a song called The Mercy of the Fallen. And it's all about how she loves people who have been through it, who have been mired in their own suffering and have really come out the other side, because what they bring to the world is just kind of a non-judgmental, open-hearted spaciousness that lets everybody be who they really are, and that provides the space to let people work through their own suffering with this loving, non-judgmental mirror. That's what I think of when I think of Marc. I think he's been through it. He has looked his demons in the eyes, and he approaches the world with just this beautiful, vulnerable, authentic realness that lets all of us be who we really are. It's such a gift.
Marc is a beacon of chesed, of kindness. His gentle smile and easy warmth bring me ease and help me before a daily sit to usefully forget the scale of the thing. His softness and lightness make it intimate and personal, which I think is extraordinary given the reach. And his chesed is accompanied, as our tradition describes, by a complementary gevurah, a strength which holds the space in a way that is clear and boundaried and makes it safe and welcoming for all. A gevurah which I have to exercise myself in keeping to my time here, because there's so much more that I could add. Here is, as we say, Echad Mishishim, 1/60th, a taste of my appreciation. Thank you, Marc.
Rabbi Marc, for years, you have stood for us like a lighthouse in the dark. Tall, generous, calm, and radiant, you somehow have seen us clearly, despite the distances that separate us. You have lifted up each famished, weary soul in the hardest years that most of us have ever known. Your kindness has greeted us and warmed our hearts. Your calm voice has reassured us, and your insights have amazed us. Uma'aseh yadecha konena alecha. May you continue to merit seeing the work of your hands flourish through our deeply grateful hearts.
Hope you enjoyed that, Marc. More important, I hope if Marc's children are watching, they really enjoy it. We all really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. And Marc points out in the chat that he's very moved that this is happening today on the birthday of Rabbi Rachel Cowan of blessed memory, who is a co-founder of IJS, and as he says, is without whom he and many of us would not be here. So yes, thank you for pointing that out, Marc, and reminding us of the presence of Rachel. And I know Nancy is on the call, and I know others of our founding teachers are here. And yes, we can totally do this again next week. We always in this spring, we've done a spring online event for the last several years, and it's always involved a wonderful musical number. And our closing is going to be that wonderful musical number. And we didn't even go to outside talent this year. When we were having our staff retreat at Trinity Retreat Center a couple of months ago, the staff had this wonderful time where we were sitting around singing, and we were singing a setting of Psalm 136, as one does at an IJS staff retreat, and which you might know the refrain. It starts out Hodu Ladonai Ki Tov and Ki Leolam Chasdo, and we keep saying Ki Leolam Chasdo. God's goodness and chesed is unbounded, is everlasting. And so it begins with the word gratitude, hodu, give thanks, hod, and it involves chesed, which Marc is Mr. Chesed, is deeply associated with chesed around here and to all of us. And so as we were singing it, we got the bright idea, you know what? We should record this and we'll make this will be our musical gift. And the truth is, you get a really good musical gift because it's led by Miriam Margles and Sam Finesmith. And so we're going to share that with you. And I hope you will sing along. You don't need to know all the words, but you'll pick up the refrain, Ki l'olam chasto. I want to say two things before we get to the video. Number one is, I want to say, in the spirit of that gratitude and chesed, again, amplifying not only to Mark, but we're celebrating 5 years of the sit, which would not be here without all the people that Mark mentioned, all of you who attend, everyone here who has shared it with a friend, who has brought someone else into this community, who's told someone about how moving and important it is. Thank you for helping us to grow this community and for showing up day after day and for being just part of this really incredible thing that I think none of us could have envisioned happening years ago, and it has become such an important thing, as you heard from Mark and Harris and others tonight, has become such an important part of so many people's lives. And second, and finally, I'm totally serious about if you're feeling additionally moved. Sometimes I go to these things and I'm like, gosh, I want to give something else. And so if you are feeling moved, I want to put in the link in the chat one more time. Maybe Ben can do that for us. Ben Larson, who's helping us with our tech tonight. We can put that in. Thank you. If you are feeling moved and you want to just dig a little deeper and give something else in honor of Mark and in celebration of this wonderful community, please do. So with that, thank you. We're going to be taken out with music. You are welcome to also offer words of gratitude in the chat. And we hope this is just one big chesed love fest, because God knows we all need it. Thank you, everybody. Here's our singing.
Stop.